agenda, okay? Agenda, okay?
Lloyd died.
Who's that?
And Michael Guttentag, don't forget to hit record.
Still missing Adam, right?
And we are recording.
Okay, we're missing Adam. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
One more person.
Missing Adam, and Marty's muted and we can't see him.
Adam's right here. I'm promoting him now. Marty. Find Marty.
There's Adam.
There's Adam.
Hello. How are you?
Hi, Adam.
Yeah,
How are you?
And
I'm asking Marty to start his video.
And that's me.
They can hear you.
Okay.
promoted.
I feel like we're on Hollywood Squares or something.
Yes.
Marty,
Hi, guys.
Hey,
there's
Marty.
Marty's
Hi,
boy.
Marty.
There he
How's it
is.
going?
Excellent.
Welcome back.
I'm gonna record.
All right, so we have a full deck. All right, let's get started. Are you ready, Michael?
I'm ready whenever you are.
I'm ready. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first public hearing for the Nassau County Rent Guidelines Board. I'm going to go ahead and introduce the members of the board. Go ahead, please, starting with Janetta.
Good morning, Janetta Alexander, public member.
Andy Cohen, owner's member.
Derek Gray, public member.
Catherine Harris Marchese, a tenant member.
Marty Melconian, public member.
Adam
Bob
Mahoney, public.
Lewinsky.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You go, Adam.
Adam Mahoney, public member.
Robert
Barry Stein, oh, I'm sorry.
tenant member.
Barry Stein, landlord member.
And I'm Mike Miller, public member. I'm going to go ahead and turn over to some important notice to be read by DHCR, and they'll introduce themselves as well. Go ahead, please.
Yes, James Ferrara, Associate Attorney, DHCR.
And Michael Guttentag, Senior Attorney, DHCR. Back to James.
Yes. In response to the governor's directive to take every effort to keep New Yorkers safe and mitigate the spread of COVID-19, and pursuant to Executive Order 202-1 and its updates, which allows for the suspension of the Open Public Meetings Law, the Nassau County Rent Guidelines Board will be conducting public hearings to determine the guideline rates of rent adjustments for housing accommodations within its jurisdiction, subject to the Emergency Tenant Protection Act of 1974, for leases commencing between October 1st, 2021 and September 30th, 2022 via Zoom video teleconference. Please note that all meetings will be live streamed via YouTube starting at the designated time of the meeting. Instructions for members of the public to simultaneously listen to the hearings are posted on DHCR's website for the Office of Rent Administration under the Public Hearings section. The hearings will also later be transcribed, and the public will have the ability to view the transcript. The YouTube live stream can be viewed on the Nassau County Rent Guidelines Board YouTube channel. All live meetings will be recorded and will remain on the Nassau County Rent Guidelines Board YouTube channel for future viewing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrara. Have the members of the board had a chance to review the minutes for the last meeting?
Yes. Motion to approve.
All approved? Aye?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Thank you very much, Terrence. All right, we have a list here. I'm going to turn over back to you, James, to go with the list, and we'll follow along. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have one speaker for this evening who signed up via the Nassau County Rent Guideline Board email, and that is Mr. Stephen Paddock.
Okay.
Like,
We recognize Mr. Paddock. Go ahead, please.
Is he here?
Yes.
Oh, there.
Promoted to panelist, and now I am going to Mr. Paddock.
Mr. Paddock, you're muted. You probably want to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you. Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
great.
Yes, yes.
Would you like me to put your video on, Mr. Paddock?
If you want. Okay,
There you go.
all right,
There you
great.
go.
Thank you. Well, it's good that everyone's here and healthy, first of all. And I hope that everyone has taken the opportunity to get vaccinated so we can get out of this mess. And we can all see each other in a regularly formal meeting. A couple of things. During the pandemic in April, and I just want to report what's currently going on in the state of New York that has an effect on everybody. New York State has raised in April the fares on the tunnels and the bridges 7%. So whoever commutes, it affects everyone. More importantly, the village budgets are coming out. Rockville Center has increased their tax levy charge by 3.9% of the real estate tax. The city of Long Beach, and this is on top of all the prior year increases, but this one is just unbelievable. For the coming budget of 2021 to 2022, the real estate tax increase for a homestead tax increase is 6.33%. They're projecting, and a non-homestead tax increase, which is real estate, both of them are real estate, is 12.26%. On top of that, they're also putting through a 4% water increase in the city of Long Beach. I don't know if anyone's aware, but New York State recently got $13 billion. That's $13 billion from the federal government, of which $2.4 billion of that federal money is for state rent relief, which, according to Newsday, it was in the newspaper, they have not released the dime. That was in the article on May 7th, 2021 in Newsday. State rent relief held up, whereas nobody in the state can reasonably come up with a plan on how to send landlords the arrears that are astronomical to help us during this crisis. Also, I want to point out that Newsday also published another ad that jobless claims on Long Island are down. So the economy on Long Island is picking up tremendously currently. And I guess that's why the governments are seizing to take all our money in tax dollars increases. So when it comes time to vote, someone's got to sit there and say, look, all these tax increases get passed on to us, the building owners, and with a 0% rent increase, for old pre-war buildings that need to get maintained, it makes it virtually impossible to maintain a viable, good operating stock. And I wish everyone would truly read these budgets proposed by the villages and the tax relief that is not the rent relief that is going nowhere in Albany. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Let me just clarify something here. I'm aware of the funds that have come down from the federal government, but it's not.
You're muted.
I'm sorry, I lost you.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure where I got lost. So let me just recap.
Please.
I'm very aware of what's happening in terms of the money that's coming down from the federal government. However, this time it's really not the state. The federal government has not given clear guidelines as to how the money can be used. So that's what the holdup is not the state to stat. I know the state.
It's according to the article, I beg to differ. According to the article in Newsday,
Yep.
the rent relief money was given to the state for the state to come up with a plan to disperse it. That's what the article says. I'm only repeating.
I'm aware what the article says, but I'm just telling you what's happening in the background.
Okay, well, that either way, that doesn't help
Either way,
us.
it's not coming out.
It doesn't help us.
Exactly.
You know, that's like putting the carrot out there and saying you can't eat it.
Right. I got you. Point taken. Point taken.
Anyway, but it's also all the city and the village rent increases and everything else too. That's affecting us. And as everybody knows, given the fact that the federal government gave an extra $300 and at one time $600 unemployment benefit, you couldn't order a supply and get it delivered because everybody stayed at home, made more money at home than work. So that in itself has made a pent up problem in getting supplies because the supply chain was broken. So the demand is great. So now the prices for us to buy supplies is increasing rapidly. That's a fact.
Thanks,
Did I
Steve.
lose you guys?
No, we hear you, Lola.
Oh, okay.
Just one point I'd like to make about the unemployment rate. And I hear you, Mr. Paddock, definitely about the increase in things like wood and steel and supplies. That affects my household. But to do with the unemployment rate in the United States is actually pretty dishonest the way that they calculate it, because if you move off of receiving unemployment funds, you're no longer counted as unemployed, even though you still may be unemployed. So if somebody's been unemployed for 3 years, they're not counted as being unemployed.
But they may not be searching for work either. So we can go back and forth on that. They just may say, I'm retired, I'm not going back to.
That's not always the case. I'm just
Okay,
making.
but we don't know what the case is. This is how it's
Exactly.
reported.
I'm just making a point.
I understand that, but this is how it's reported. This is how it's been done year after year after year. The fact of the matter is, when I needed to order appliances, I couldn't take it anymore. I called the manager at the PC Richard warehouse and I said, it's been 3 weeks to get a stove shipped. And he told me point blank, my staff left to collect unemployment benefits, which is more than I can pay them. And so I am limited to how I can ship things. And now that has caused a major problem in price escalation and also delivery and again, to maintaining the product.
Well, I think one of the things to do with supply chain, actually, where you're not exactly correct, has to do with the manufacturing of things, particularly that are in China and otherwise.
But there's nobody in the warehouse. You missed the point.
Please stop interrupting me. Let me finish what I'm saying. I did not interrupt you. There's been a huge problem in China to do with a lot of the chips that are made that go into a lot of the different appliances, and also the ability to make things in China and other countries where COVID really hit probably heavier than here.
That may be true, but I'm telling you directly from the source of the warehouse. We have the appliances. We can't deliver them on time because the people are at home collecting a $600 unemployment enhanced benefit. That's more than I can pay them. That's just a fact. So we can argue back and forth, but I live this every day. You don't. So I'm telling you what the reality is.
I think it's rather astounding that you're saying the reason for high unemployment is because people are too lazy, essentially. And the opinion of one.
Hey, the president was on TV today.
Can you let someone else speak?
Go ahead.
The opinion of one PC Richards manager doesn't equate to a lot.
Excuse me, the president was on TV today, and even he admitted that the enhanced unemployment people are keeping people from going back to work. He even admitted it. So it's not just me. That's the top door.
Okay, folks, I think the point is well taken on both sides. So let's
Just hand it off. There are 7 million jobs that are unfulfilled out there. So that's some indication.
Is there anyone else registered to speak?
It's not me.
No.
I got you.
This is
Can I
James.
ask a question?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Just wondering if Long Beach landlords got any of the PPP loans that turned out to be grants.
Real estate was
Landlords couldn't get
exempt
it.
from it.
You can't
Pardon?
get it. Landlords can't get the PPP.
Real estate's exempt from it. Congress purposely wrote it in because of Trump.
Anyone else? All right, is there any other matter?
Did we have a letter from legislator Bynow, which was not read into the record?
Yes, we have no more speakers. We have a letter from legislator Bynow. This was a letter emailed to the Nassau County Rent Guideline Board dated March 23rd, 2021, addressed to Mr. Miller. Dear Mr. Miller, the year 2020 was a trying time for our county as we dealt with the widespread consequences of COVID-19. To date, there have been 161,408 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Nassau County, including 3,017 COVID-related deaths. Although infection rates and fatalities have thankfully decreased in 2021, our residents continue to bear the medical and economic burdens of this ongoing pandemic. Many families are coping with reduced incomes while still trying to provide for their loved ones. A rent increase for upcoming 1- and 2-year leases would be a crushing hardship for families who are just beginning to recover amidst this pandemic. Therefore, I ask that there be no rent increases for the 2021-2022 period of consideration. I am confident that doing so will allow families to remain in their homes as tenants throughout the upcoming years. I thank you for your attention to this matter sincerely.
Thank you, Mr. Ferraro. Any other matters? Okay, our next meeting is going to be on Monday, May 24th, and we're starting at 7:30. There will be no other comments or matters. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion for adjournment.
Second,
Seconded by
aye, second.
Aye.
Barry, seconded. All in favor, aye.
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 Thank you
Aye.
all, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe, and we'll see you on the 24th. Thanks
Stay
again.
well, Michael. Take
Have a
care.
good night.